with the Lion.
The following is an EHC media production.
What's going on, RWT family and Smart Mark Radio listeners? This is your boy, Moses Marquez.
And I'm your boy, Amir Blackbay Costello.
And we are here to remind you guys to catch us each and every week on the Gorilla Position.
Yeah, man, it's our little show we got going on where we talk about all things wrestling. And Moses Marquez, what's your favorite thing to talk about?
My favorite thing to talk about is all the bullshit going on in the WWE, but then I like to sugar on a little bit of the awesomeness of the New Japan Pro Wrestling. What about yourself?
Yeah, man, I like talking about those things too. Not to mention AEW is coming out. Ring of Honor is awesome. And I don't know if anybody likes Impact, but fuck it. If they're making news, we're talking about them too.
We're talking about all this and more, guys. So again, catch us each and every week on soundcloud.com/smartmarkradio, and of course on the RWT YouTube page. Every week, a new episode of the Gorilla Position will be up. So we'll catch you around the bend, boys and girls. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
For honest, uncut, and often controversial coverage of all things wrestling, there's one place to get it, with some good old banter thrown in.
Join the Butcher and myself, two-time Knowledge Champion Mike Larkin, along with your host Dazzy Dangerously, every Friday for the Max Wrestling Podcast, with championship specials every 2 to 3 months.
WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and the company with many names and more.
On Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podomatic, iTunes, and Stitcher.
We must now bid you adieu, goodbye, mwah, and good night. Bam!
Black power, got my fist in the air, screaming black power.
I feel like Tookie Williams' last hour. We used to stand for something, but most niggas is cowards. Took rows to parks to sit down, so I'm pro-black like the pigs with the fist now. 80s, crack exists now. All these babies going crazy cause these ladies smoking daily now. So tell me, how you really gonna say the chow when it's still running through our veins as a juvenile? If something's gonna change, you better do it now. Since this makes sense, we gon' start a movement now.
EWA.
Do you play WWE 2K18 on the PS4? Would you like to play against other like-minded players in a very unique online league that's unique because we are more committed to storylines than just a straight-up competitive league. The league is still very competitive, but we also try to run things like a bit of a TV show. Check out the YouTube channel and the Facebook page in the description below if you're interested.
What's going on, RWT family? I'm back. My name is Mike Larkin, host of The Future Is Now, taking a look at this week's 205 Live in NXT. 205 Live is back on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. right after SmackDown, and Wednesday is all about NXT with NXT UK and NXT respectively. So I just want to say, before we get into this show, a happy birthday to two very important people in my life. Number one, happy birthday to my mommy, and number two, I have to give a special happy birthday to my friend and RWT, the man behind RWT, the RWT creator, that is the great Amir Blackbay Costello. Happy birthday, Mommy, and happy birthday, Amir. I love you both. Amir, you're my friend. I love you like a brother. And my mom, thank you for all that you've done for me. I just want to say I love you so much. I love you, love you, love you so much. Thank you. Thank you both just for having a great impact and just the importance you'll have in my life as friends and family, respectively. So, on that note, let's start off with some 205 Live.
For too long they've held the brain, now it's time we take the crown. Right back from all
Alrighty, and here is the 205 Live review for this week. Now, that is not the 205 Live review for this week. My apologies. I hit the wrong button after that. I'm leaving that in because that was priceless. I was not expecting that. That's the thing, folks. When you do YouTube before this and you want to play like songs, don't hit autoplay because it'll take you to the next one. It'll just keep going. So, note to self: autoplay off. Oh my goodness. So, anyway, this week's 205 Live aired on Tuesday, January 15th, right after SmackDown, back to its original home after SmackDown's on Tuesday. So this week's 205 Live opened with Lio Rush cutting a promo saying, "Welcome everybody to Leo 5 Live. He has some unfinished business. Lindsay has a misconception about the man of the hour. He did not come here to make friends or to party. He came here to win. Leo tells everyone to look at your new Intercontinental Champion, Bobby Lashley. In 2 weeks, he was supposed to be the Cruiserweight Champion, but Lindsay Dorado took that away and ruined everything. Lindsay will find out what it means to feel the rush. Leo tells him to turn off the Lucha House Party's music every time you come out with your entourage because you know that you cannot beat him in a one-on-one match. Before the match starts, Metalik and Kalisto go to the back, and Leo attacks Lindsay before the bell. The referee calls for the bell to start the match, and Lindsay with punches, and here we go. I mean, this was just an all-out brawl. Leo Rush slaps Lindsay Dorado. Lindsay Dorado comes back with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. A lot of springboard cross bodies, a lot of punches, and just going back and forth with each other. It was really good back and forth. I mean, high-octane aerial assault is what you're going to get with these two. Leo Rush is amazing at what he does. Same with Lindsay Dorado, respectively. They just traded near falls, moonsaults from Lindsay Dorado. The finishing sequence comes where he hits the handspring cutter, the golden rewind, not the golden rush, for a near fall. Dorado goes up top and Rush hangs onto the ropes, and Dorado hits a leg drop to the back of the neck. Dorado misses the charge into the corner, and Dorado hits the post. Leo Rush goes up top and hits the frog splash, the final hour for the 1-2-3 after the missile dropkick to the back of the neck, leg drop, whatever you want to call it, but it was a nice sequence at the end there. So Leo Rush is your winner in the opening contest against Lindsay Dorado. After the match, we see Rush attacking Dorado from behind while Dorado goes to the back. Leo Rush gets in a few shots, and then Kalisto and Metalik come out to help Dorado. So this feud is going to continue, and it's going to progress here in 205 Live. Noam Dar is in the interview area, and he's asked about beating Tony Nese last week. Noam says Tony thinks he's better than everyone because he's the premier athlete. Then here comes Tony Nese. He shows up and says that Dar only showed how lucky he was. Tony says he dominated from bell to bell, and Dar got lucky. Dar reminds Tony that he lost. Tony says he would beat Dar 99 out of 100 times. Then Dar tells him Nese again that he lost. Tony suggests that they meet each other again since they are 1-1. Noam Dar says he would love to get in the ring with someone who will up his game, but he lost. And then we go to Drake Maverick, ask the official to make sure that the main event goes okay, since he will be checking on Lindsay Dorado. TJP comes in. We haven't seen TJP in a while. Now here comes TJP. He enters the office and says Drake does not check on him. Drake says that TJP wants to challenge Buddy, but a new member of the roster will face Buddy tonight. Then TJP leaves, and while Drake is talking, just it is what it is. It's fine. Drake is taking care of business. TJP wants a shot. Let's see where it goes. I like TJP. I mean, they haven't been really doing much with him, nor Mike Kanellis, who apparently the rumors are now that him and Maria want out, like the Revival that we found out today. So it's going to be interesting to see the direction that 205 Live goes and what the tag team scene overall has on Monday Night Raw. So that was the backstage segment there with TJP and Drake Maverick and Noam Dar and Tony Nese, respectively. And then Buddy Murphy was in the back. He's walking. He's coming out for his match. We're back. We get comments from the three challengers for the Cruiserweight title at the Royal Rumble. First up, we have Kalisto, who says that they are going to show the tradition of Lucha Libre. He says that he takes it very seriously. He says he dedicated his life to be the best, and he will walk out as a two-time Cruiserweight champion. Brian Kendrick says it will be brutal, and that is why he's teaching Akira Tozawa every dirty trick in the book. He will break the will of his opponents, and then Akira just smiles and says what he said. Ari Daivari says all three of Itami's opponents have been champion. Itami is hungry for the title. He does not see right or wrong. He sees the championship. Hideo is a threat to the title and your physical well-being. Just ask Cedric Alexander. The new ruler of 205 Live will take his throne as 50,000 people will witness the beginning of the Itami era. And next week, as a preview going towards the Royal Rumble, we have Kalisto, Tozawa, and Itami in a triple threat match. Buddy Murphy says he has something to say. He says that he is the greatest cruiserweight of all time. He will defend his title against three great opponents. Next week, his opponents will meet each other in a triple threat match. So Buddy Murphy will have a close eye on that match, but he has a match of his own as it's the main event of 205 Live as Buddy Murphy takes on Humberto Carrillo. Now, for those who don't know Humberto Carrillo, he is the tag team partner of Raul Mendoza, who was in the inaugural Cruiserweight Classic on NXT. Not really reaction for him because nobody really knew who he was. He's been on NXT a couple times. They've had great matches with the likes of, I believe there was one with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They've had some good matches before. I mean, I've seen them go at it a couple times, I believe, with the Forgotten Sons. They're fine. I like Humberto Carrillo. He showed a lot of promise, but this was just a case of Buddy Murphy's going to shake his hand. They go back and forth. Buddy dominates. Humberto Carrillo comes back with a cross body, the springboard roundhouse kick, and the springboard headbutt. And this is just mostly, Carrillo coming back and Buddy dominating. It was what it needed to be. Buddy Murphy gets most of the offense, and then Carrillo comes back with the hope spots, like I mentioned there. Then Carrillo gets mad. He pretty much takes Buddy Murphy to the floor, hits a suicide dive over the announce table onto Percy Watson, smashes Buddy's head on the announce table. Then this goes to the finishing sequence of the matchup here, which, like I said, it was not bad, but a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know who Humberto Carrillo is because he's on NXT, but he's not on NXT a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if you would have gotten, I was going to say somebody in the Cruiserweight division who's on NXT. Well, they had Roderick Strong on there. He had a great match for the Day of Time. You had, Roderick Strong or somebody who, it might have been a different reaction, but I think you look at it like that and you're like, oh, they didn't really know who he is, but if you look at the other side of the coin here, it's like you're giving him an opportunity, and he has tons of potential. Him and Raul Mendoza are a great tag team. It's going to be very interesting to see who they keep bringing in for the Cruiserweights. I'd love to see Trevor Lee in here, to be honest with you. Trevor Lee is now a free agent. He's left Impact Wrestling. He's coming to WWE, probably going to be in NXT, but I'd love to see Trevor Lee mix it with these guys because he's a great wrestler in his own right. Shane Helms, if you ever need a veteran, bring Shane Helms in. I'm interested to see who we get. I'm interested to see, and look who's on the come up, who's on the rise, so to speak, to see what we have coming. And you could even use a lot of NXT UK talents on there. You can bring back Mark Andrews. You can put Flash Morgan Webster in there. There's a lot of people you can use, so it's going to be very interesting. And congratulations to the UK. You guys have a performance center now for NXT UK, and I think that's amazing. But the finishing sequence comes for Buddy Murphy and Humberto Carrillo after the announce table shots from Buddy on Buddy's head by Humberto Carrillo. Carrillo goes for a springboard, but Buddy hits him with a knee, and then the Murphys Law for the 1-2-3, and Buddy Murphy is your victor. Hell of a fight for Humberto Carrillo, and Buddy Murphy is your victor going into next week, the final 205 Live before the Royal Rumble, where we will see Kalisto, Akira Tozawa, and Hideo Itami in the triple threat match as a preview for their matchup at the Royal Rumble. So that was this week's 205 Live. Now it is time for this week's NXT. Alrighty, let's get into this week's NXT. Thank God I didn't hit autoplay again because that would have been bad. But I digress. So we opened up with Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits, taking on JC Metro and Chris Metro, who I'll give the credit to Courtney Summers here. Courtney, I love you. Check her out on Twitter at SwitchXQueen. On Twitter at SwitchXQueen as Miss Courtney Summers. She mentioned, the one guy kind of looking like Kenny Omega old style look with the jacket and the glasses, looking like the cleaner a little bit. I'm going to take it back 2007, 2008. These guys look like Deuce and Domino if they shrunk, to be honest with you. You guys remind you of the 50 vibes, and they were all about cool, wearing the shades and the black jacket, the leather jacket. I mean, the Metro Brothers, they were there for what they needed to be, and it was a squash. I mean, you had Angelo Dawkins shoving forward, getting all hyped up, and then it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Montez Ford just hit a drop kick. Then here comes Angelo Dawkins, hits a shoulder tackle. It was just amazing, because I mentioned Dawkins hitting Ford with a back chop. I mean, you know what it is? Oh my God, the Dawkins sending Ford onto Chris with a backdrop, and just Dawkins just firing up. You have to see this because it was a funny exchange. And then he just friggin' waffles. Angelo Dawkins waffles JC Metro with a punch. Oh my God. And then another punch. And then just, you see Montez Ford getting excited. Then he hits the frog splash for the 1, 2, 3 on poor JC Metro for the 1, 2, 3. It was fun, and it was a storytelling of, the Street Profits have a new attitude, and they want the NXT World Tag Team Championships. So I thought it was cool. It was a great way to reintroduce the Street Profits, who we haven't seen in weeks. Then they celebrate in the crowd. Then out of nowhere, here comes Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake and Jackson Riker of the Forgotten Sons, because last time we saw the Street Profits, they were wrestling the Forgotten Sons. They all attacked him. They had a sit-out spinebuster on Montez Ford. And they tell Montez they are forgotten no more. Dawkins comes into the ring to check on Ford, and he's attacked and given a boot from the turnbuckles. It was fine for what it was. We're just going to see more of a feud between the Street Profits and the Forgotten Sons. Then we go to Keith Lee and Matt Riddle in the back. Matt is asked whether he will be at ringside for Keith's match against Ono. Matt says he has not been medically cleared, so he cannot be in the corner of his bro. He wants to be in the front row to see Keith show Ono that he is limitless. Matt says he wants Keith to leave something for him. We are back. And Aleister Black asks Tommaso Ciampa if he feels that the days of TakeOver Phoenix are at hand. He feels it. Ciampa feels it. And the fans feel it. You thought you were safe because you were clear of him. Black says he will absolve Ciampa of his sins as he gets his title back. Black suggests they start the fight a little early next week at Full Sail. Then here comes Bianca Belair to cut a promo. Bianca says Chaos tried to stop her rise, but last week she sent Nikki Cross packing if she continues her climb. Bianca says this is her year. She says she has 2020 vision. And no, we're not talking about the 2020 experience a la Justin Timberlake. When it comes to that championship, Bianca says she sees Shayna and you have your title and horsewomen galloping behind you. You think you're the baddest, but the EST of NXT is walking out of Phoenix with the title because she is and before she can say undefeated. Here comes Shayna Baszler, and she's joined by Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke. Shayna comments on the EST of NXT and says she doesn't see it. Everybody knows about her records at their performance center. She's the fastest and the strongest, but she is not the smartest. If you had half a brain, you would understand that it doesn't matter how big and strong your arms are, she's going to tear them off at TakeOver. Bianca tells Shayna, girl, the only thing these arms will be doing is holding the title over her head at TakeOver. Shayna says you are just like everybody else. You won't put your money where your mouth is and fight her. You are afraid. You're afraid I'm going to break your arms. You're afraid I'm going to silence the hype. You're afraid I'm going to change your vocabulary from undefeated to overrated. She asks Bianca if she's afraid of her friends. They are the least of your worries. Then Belair just slaps Shayna. Then she avoids Marina and Jessamine as she gets to the floor and taunts. This was great, and it really wants me to see, it really engages me in the women's title match. I'm looking forward to seeing Shayna and Bianca Belair. I think Bianca has such a bright future. Shayna's amazing at what she does. I think it's going to be a nice, fresh matchup. It's the first time these two have ever touched, so I'm looking forward to it. And will Bianca Belair become the women's champion and remain undefeated? We shall see. Then we go to Dominik Dijakovic. Donovan Dijak is how I know him from Ring of Honor and all these places. Dominik Dijakovic. Yeah, I'm going to say Dominik Dijakovic. Whatever they're calling him now. Donovan Dijak, excuse me. Versus Adrian Jaoud. We've seen this guy before. He's fine. The mixed martial arts background. He got some shots in. He takes down, Dijakovic. Sends him into the corner. Dominik Dijakovic comes back with a forearm, hits a series of kicks and the spinning back elbow, and he hits a splash in the corner followed by Time to Fly, the release suplex that he does. Adrian comes back with punches to the midsection and he kicks him. Dominic with forearms in the head, and he hits a clothesline, the bloodline. Dominic kicks Jaoud in the corner. Adrian blocks a kick and applies a knee roar, but Dominic gets to the ropes. Hits the round kick and the sign clove kick. Goes for the feast your eyes. He hits it. And Dominic Dijakovic is your winner. Personally, I like Dominic Dijakovic. I've been a fan of his since the Ring of Honor days. So I'm really happy to just see where he goes and what fresh matchups we're going to get with him. Because there's a lot you could do. Then we go to comments from the War Raiders. They're outside and they have torches. They tell us that the Undisputed Era, they come to celebrate their victories and the scars they have earned. They respect the Undisputed Era, but in Phoenix they take everything. Dynasties crumble. Tonight they gather to celebrate their victories. Your tactics have been bold. Your era ends in Phoenix, and that is undisputed. They set chairs with the Undisputed Era logos on fire. It was cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing these two wrestle. This is Ring of Honor for me because I've seen, Red Dragon, and I've seen, War Machine, as they were known, wrestle, so I think it's cool. I really did. I'm really looking forward to the tag title match. And it was nicely done, this segment. Then we get to Johnny Gargano versus Humberto Carrillo, who we just saw on 205 Live taking on Buddy Murphy. It was good, man. They went back and forth. Carrillo got to do more in this one. He hits Johnny with a back heel kick, Then Gargano hits the slingshot spear. Gargano hits the snapmare and the drop kick to the back of the head. Then he puts him in an abdominal stretch. Carrillo with the punches, and Gargano runs into a boot in the corner. And Carrillo comes back, hits a handspring back elbow. Then he hits the corkscrew plancha, and then he hits a missile drop kick. Then he hits a moonsault, and then Gargano grabs a leg to stop Carrillo from going to the turnbuckles. Then Carrillo goes for a moonsault again, but he lands on Gargano's feet. Gargano gets the feet up, hits him with a super kick, then lawn darts him into the corner, hits the slingshot DDT for the 1-2-3, and it was a nice back and forth matchup with Johnny Gargano getting the victory over Humberto Carrillo. Then Johnny Gargano tells Ricochet if he wants his respect, show up next week and he will give Ricochet all the respect he wants. Then we see that Tommaso Ciampa and Goldie are in the back, and he tells Aleister Black that you like to refer to him as the Puppet Master. If he is the Puppet Master, then you are the ultimate puppet. You are so gullible that you are not going to wait for TakeOver, and you are going to bring the fight. The champ only fights on the grandest stage. That is why they're going to wait until Phoenix. He does not expect Black to understand that. He tells his number one puppet to listen carefully to the champ. Be careful what you ask for. Then we find out that next week we'll see Johnny Gargano and Ricochet on the show. We're going to see the Velveteen Dream come back next week live, which I think is going to be super cool. So I'm looking forward to that. This brings us to our main event, and it's Cassius Ohno versus Keith Lee. This was fine. It was your typical big man style matchup. You got to see Keith Lee show his athleticism, just hitting a springboard, crossbody, the surfboard that Ohno was going on, but Lee gets his feet and kicks to the head. This was just stiff. I mean, this was just a great brawl. You know what I'm saying? It was just good stuff, showed athleticism by both. I mean, both of these guys are big guys, but they can move like freight trains. It's an absolute joy to watch. Watching Keith Lee when he teamed with Shane Taylor in Ring of Honor and Chris Hero after all these years, Cassius Ohno. So I think it was a joy just to watch the match, and I like both guys. I like their styles, so I thought they meshed well. It was fine for what it needed to be, but man, Keith Lee's push is gone after that loss to Lars Sullivan. The finishing sequence comes where Lee avoids the rolling elbow and hits the pounce, channeling his inner Monty Brown. Ohno holds up onto the ropes, and Ohno pushes Lee into the referee. Then accidentally, Lee punches the referee. Lee checks on the ref, and Ohno hits a low blow and a rolling elbow for the 1-2-3, and Cassius Ohno is your victor. After the match, Matt Riddle breaks free of some referees to come to the ring to go after Ohno, but Ohno gets out of the ring before Riddle can arrive, and Matt Riddle's checking on Keith Lee. And that's how you ended this week's NXT. So, overall, I liked both shows, but if you really want to watch anything this week from both shows, watch the main event with Cassius Ohno and Keith Lee. Watch Gargano and Humberto Carrillo. The Street Profits stuff you can really skip, and the same goes for, the same goes for the Dijakovic one, but Dijakovic is just amazing. It's a tough one because I was kind of like, with both shows this week. It was good, but I was just like, it was what it was. But really, go out of your way to watch the Bianca Belair Shayna Baszler exchange and the main event on NXT. 205 Live, just watch both matches. Watch Lio Rush and Lindsay Dorado, which is good, and Buddy Murphy and Humberto Carrillo. Next week, I'll be back to talk about 205 Live before the Rumble, as we have Kalisto, Akira Tozawa, and Hideo Itami in a triple threat match. And next week's NXT, where we have the Velveteen Dream returning, and Johnny Gargano and Ricochet both on the show. So it's going to be very interesting to see how both shows play out before we get to NXT TakeOver Phoenix and the Royal Rumble, respectively. I'll be back next week. This concludes episode 22 of The Future Is Now. Everyone, have a great night. I'll talk to you soon, and God bless, my friends. Thank you all very much for listening.